Quasi here, and in this video I'm going to share with you the most powerful recipe that I use to achieve success, namely understanding order and chaos. And by the end of this video, you're going to learn the 3 keys that I personally use and our clients personally use in the Reality Mastery program to understand the balance between effort and surrender so that they can smoothly move towards their goals without any friction. So make sure you stick around till the very end of this video because there's a lot you're going to be learning from this, okay? So before I begin this video, I wanted to quickly announce that I'm doing a free giveaway of my book, Life Mastery. If you want to enroll into a competition to win this book for completely free in the ebook format at the end of the week, just comment Life Mastery down below. And every single Friday, we'll be picking one lucky winner to get this book for completely free in the ebook format. Also, I'm super excited to announce that some spots have opened up for the free one-to-one consult with me for the Reality Mastery program. So make sure you wait around till the end of this video for the announcement on that. And with that, let's get started with this video. So in this video, I want to talk to you about order and chaos. And you might be wondering why I want to talk about this. And this is because there's a great misconception in the entrepreneurship community and the mindset and manifestation community about success. Right? People think it's one way or the other. People think success is binary, right? But this is the furthest thing from truth, and I had to find this out the hard way. Now, why I say that is because back in the day, I used to think, oh, it's all about massive action, massive action, massive action. But then that paradigm changed into, no, it's not about massive action. It's about smart action. But then what I found out up there was that what smart action entailed was sometimes making sure that you're fully rested instead of trying to sleep 6 hours a night and then trying to work 16-hour days. Right? So then that sort of triggered something in me, and it made me question myself that, okay, well, if it's not about just one thing or the other, but a good balance between the both, what other areas of my life could this be applicable to? And that's why I'm making this video, because there are other things that you might not have even considered that's affecting why you're getting and staying stuck at a certain level of success. Okay, so if you're someone who's been stuck at a certain revenue level, this video is for you. If you're someone who's been moving one step forward and one step back in your life, then this video is for you. Okay, so most people think that success is a binary decision, but it's not. It's a good balance between the both. This is why I have this yin and yang sign here. And why that is because the universe is a manifestation of the dual. Okay? So if we really look at this, right, success is when you take chaos and you turn it into order. But then what happens is when you stay too much into order and you don't let chaos happen, you run into another problem. You're going against nature. You're trying to force something. When you force something, life fights against you. So it's about understanding when to ride the flow and when to, let the flow take you. Right? It's not about forcing yourself against the flow, but rather riding the flow. That's what I wanted to say. But also not being taken by the flow. It's sort of about course correcting. So if I draw this right here, let's say this is your course for your life, for your business, and you want to stay here, right? You want to follow this path. But sometimes you find that you come here or you come here and you get out here. What we want to do is when we get here, we want to course correct, come back here. Course correct, come back here. Right? So we always want to be in a process of course correcting rather than trying to control. What happens is when you try to control, you're actually resisting the flow. You're moving back. That's what happens. But when you ride along the flow, that's when life carries you. So it's about you putting in action, but then also allowing life to take you halfway, releasing your grip from it. So this is the subtle balance between effort and surrender. Okay, in yoga, this is known as Vairagya and Abhyasa. A great sage Patanjali wrote about this in the Yoga Sutras, which is what we learn, Hatha Yoga from, thousands and thousands of years ago. And he was a great sage because people think that he was multiple people. Right? Because he knew so many different languages and so many different things, they didn't think it could be just one person. Scientists think that it's multiple people that wrote this. So what he talked about was that in any area of your life, especially with yoga, if you want to use it to reach the ultimate, you must understand how to balance vairagya and abhyasa, effort and surrender. When you learn to hit that sweet spot between effort and surrender, you hit your flow state. Okay, so understand that the universe is manifested in duality between order and chaos. Okay, so as human beings, we have the power to use order to consciously reach our goals. Now, under order, in this dual manifestation of the universe, under order, you get discipline, right? So we have discipline. And under chaos, we have entropy. What does entropy mean? Well, entropy is another way of describing chaos. If you look at anything, right, naturally it tends to go to more and more disorder. This is the natural state of the universe. When I spray perfume out into a room, the particles want to expand. Everything is in a process of becoming and being. The real question becomes, who are you becoming? Is this a conscious choice you're making or an unconscious one? Are you letting the flow just unconsciously take you, or are you course correcting along the flow to go to the final goal you actually want to go to? Right? So smart action is riding this flow rather than letting this flow take you or fighting against this flow. So there are three things, right? The first of them is when you fight against the flow resists you and you stay stagnant. The second thing is when you let the flow take you wherever. So you're now not going with this flow, but rather you're going wherever. The third is the balance between the two. This is when you see that there are certain flows leading to certain directions, and at certain points you have to exert energy to course correct and come back. So you're using optimal amounts of energy. This is the sweet spot. This is the flow state. This is why it's called the flow state. Okay? So in this dual manifestation of the universe, under order comes discipline. And then we have the masculine. Now, under chaos, we have entropy. And we have the feminine. We have creativity. We have the yin. I'm sure the yang is the masculine. We have effort under order. And we have surrender under chaos. I know my handwriting is terrible, but hope you can understand this. But essentially, you're seeing a pattern emerge. And there's certain masculine traits. There are certain feminine traits. Now, within every single person, there is a certain level of masculine, feminine. You can't just say that, oh, masculine is the way to go. Yes, masculine is the best way to go. And you can't say at the same time, oh, feminine is the best way to go. There needs to be a balance between the two. If you're a male right now, maybe your balance is 80-20, 80% masculine energy, 20% feminine energy. If you're female, maybe it's you're 90-10, 90% feminine energy, 10% masculine. Or it could be the other way around. It's about understanding your own personal balance, which actually helps you hit that sweet spot. Within every single thing that you do, there is a certain balance of order and chaos that helps you hit that sweet spot. Let's say you have a creative endeavor, right? Let's say you are an author. Maybe you rely more on this chaos to help you get better ideas, more inspiration. But then you also combine that with discipline, you're going to become dangerous. You're going to start to draw up creativity at will. Okay? Even when I make these videos, I make them every single Thursday. I batch all of my videos together, so I become creative every Thursday. Every Thursday, ideas come to me. Okay? This is because I've disciplined my creativity. I have found a sweet spot between discipline, between order and chaos. Okay? So when you find that sweet spot, that's when you hit flow. Every single area of your life. Now, why am I making this video? The biggest reason is what I've seen in my personal life was that through years and years of working, doing 12-hour days, it can get exhausting, right? And then you come in, if you're not fully rested, then you come in with the wrong sort of mindset, and then it starts to affect your business, right? You don't perform at your 100%, but rather you perform at your 50%. What do I mean by that? Well, look, I work from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. But then after 6 p.m., if I have work thoughts, the next day I'm going to come into work sort of unrecovered because I've still been thinking about work. I've still been working. I haven't rested from work. But what I see is that when I rest from work, the next day I come in more inspired, right? I come in more recharged. I come in with a better performance. So I like to completely let go of any work thoughts after 6 p.m. In the same way, in a longer period of time, what I've seen in my personal life was that when I take a vacation, let's say every 3 to 4 months of working straight, I take a vacation. What happens every single time is that after I come back from the vacation, I had new heights in my business, new heights in my life. Okay? Why this happens is because I'm respecting this balance of order and chaos. I'm letting myself go into chaos when I go into vacation. I don't stay in any sort of order. I ride the other pole. Right? You have to understand how to balance these two poles. If you've been more of an introverted person your whole life, it's time to experience what the extroverted version is like. There is no one true me and not me. The version of yourself you are right now is the one that you've chosen to become, whether this is consciously or unconsciously. When you expand your comfort zone, more opportunities that previously wouldn't have been available to you become available. Okay? This is why in the Reality Mastery Program, we help our clients experience a different version of themselves so that these opportunities that they've been glued towards and that thus have been experiencing, so that they can zoom out of it and zoom into something that they would wish to experience, so that a different opportunity becomes available for them to experience. Okay, this is why order and chaos is so important. To give an example, in August, I took a vacation. So around mid-July, I took a vacation, and when I came back in July from my vacation, I had my first 20K month. Right? I had my first 20K month in August. I went to LA with my wife, and before that, in my business, I was hitting around 0 to 5K a month, maybe 3K a month, maybe highest was 8K a month in July. But then I go into vacation, I come back, August, I hit my first 20K month. Why'd that happen? Well, because I took a step back. When I took a step back, new ideas started to come to me. I come in with a fresh mind, a beginner's mind, right? I experienced chaos and now I'm back into order. I'm respecting this balance. When you respect this balance, life starts to respect you and give you what you want. Right? You start to see things fall into place for you that previously wouldn't have been possible. This is because when you start to stay in one sort of mode for very long, you get wiped out by the impermanent nature, the impermanent quality of nature. Right? So I keep focusing on my business, doing the same thing every single day. Oh, nothing different is going to happen. Eventually, I'm going to hit a ceiling. When you hit that ceiling, now it's time to bring in some chaos. Now it's time to change your routine. Now it's time to actually introduce something new. But if the biggest problem is people always change it, right? People either disrupt the balance by never taking vacations or always changing things. They're in either too much chaos or too much order. Okay? There is too much of order, by the way. Contrary to popular belief, you can have too much of anything, any one of these things. So the mission for you is to understand your own optimal balance, your yin and yang. And to really, before moving forward to the 3 keys, I want to explain to you that there can't be an object without the observer. Right? There can't be masculine without the feminine. There can't be order without chaos. These are one and the same reality. This whiteboard can't exist without the space that contains it. Space and the object. Right? There is no space without the object. There is no object without the space. So now let's talk about the 3 keys that's going to help you really get more balance in your life and actually understand when to coordinate this balance of order and chaos. So first of all, what you've got to understand is your own personal balance. Okay? So really look at every single area of your life. How are you doing in this area? How long have you been trying it? How long have you been trying one course of action? Have you given it enough time? Some people, what they do is they too quickly withdraw from a course of action. They, let's say, take a 30-day action when it's when the results would come after 40 days, right? So give yourself ample time to take a certain form of action, right? I have people in the entrepreneurship community who do Facebook ads, and they do their ads, they spend like $100 a day, They spend like 4 or 5 days and they're like, oh shit, well, I'm not getting any money from these ads. Well, what gives? Well, it's because you haven't tried your ads for long enough. Try it for 7 days. Try it for 10 days. If then it doesn't happen, then when you know. That's when you know, right? So you got to know that optimal balance between when it's time to change course and when it's time to stick to the same course, right? So most people, what they do is when something is even working, they just quit it. And they just quit. They're like, oh, it's not working. But then they're not really seeing the empirical evidence that is already there, that is actually working, right? So I hope that made sense. Number 2, what you want to understand is that whenever you're hitting a wall with your efforts, then it's time to surrender. Okay? So to give you an example of this, when I started my business in coaching and I saw that every single day I was grinding 12 hours, I was doing outreach, I was trying to grow this business, I was trying to get more clients, but then nothing happened, right? And one day I got so frustrated, I said, fuck it. I got stressed out, I went to the park, cried a little bit, and just quit that whole day. That whole day I just let go. I walked around the park, I was with myself, alone, just surrendered, completely surrendered. I came back, next day, everything just blew up. I started to get more clients, people started to reach out to me, and that whole month, the end of the month, I actually ended up doing really well. That was one of the great months within the beginning of my business. So whenever you're hitting a wall with your efforts, what that means is you're putting in too much importance to what you want to achieve. So now it's time to show yourself that nothing is ever too important. This is all just a game. So you got to do anything that's necessary for you to show yourself that this is a game. Okay? Number 3, whenever you're too laid back, now it's time to put in more effort. So what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes I see that, I'm slacking in my efforts. But I knew I could be more conscious doing this. I knew I can, just put in more effort. Right? I knew I can be more focused. So within everyone, within every single person, there is this balance, this sort of 2 lines, okay? So this is your baseline, the dotted line is your baseline, and the top line is your upper threshold. If you go above this, you're going to start being laid back. If you go below this, then you're going to try to coordinate yourself and bring yourself back up, right? So this is when you're going to start putting in effort, and this is when you're going to start really getting laid back. Okay? So this is when your internal mechanism kicks in. You want to stay at that neutral line, but what we want to do for you is if you want to achieve your goals, you have an imaginary dotted line. You want to be up here, but your dotted line is up here. It's down here, right? So unless and until you can increase this dotted line to bring it up here, you won't be able to achieve your goals. You'll always be going one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back, and stay at this same neutral. Okay? This is what we do identity shifting. When you become this line, you actually become very successful. You achieve your goal. But the problem is, we're going one step forward, one step back. It's crazy to think about. But when you understand what your own internal boundaries are, let's say, for me, if I hit 10K, then I won't push myself anymore. Back then it was like this. If I hit 10K this month, I don't need to push myself anymore. But if I'm at 0 this month, shit, that's when I'm going to stop worrying, right? So you got to understand when it is you're getting too laid back and when it is you're, not putting in enough effort. And with that, I conclude this video. So I sincerely hope this made sense. And just to recap the gist of this video, what we discussed was order and chaos and really understanding your own personal balance between order and chaos that you need to use to help you move forward and go along with the flow rather than against it or being taken, in all different directions. Because the nature of life is that of entropy. Everything wants to expand and be different. You spray perfume into a room and it just goes everywhere. You want to choose where it is you want to go and course correct back into it, come back into the flow. And understand that this whole universe is just one manifestation of the divine, one manifestation of the dual. Okay? So we have order and chaos, we have discipline and entropy, we have masculine, feminine, we have yang and yin, we have effort and surrender. Okay? And the 3 keys to understanding effort and surrender is, first of all, understand your own personal balance and understand that success will never be binary. The binary way will never get you to success. What it will get you to is getting wiped out. You have to know when to innovate. You have to know when to stick with your current innovations. Number 2, understand that when you're hitting a wall with your efforts, it's time to surrender. It's time to let go. When you're too laid back and you're not putting in enough effort and you know that you can do more, that's when it's time to put in more effort. And with that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope this helped, and if you like this content, you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell there so you're notified of any new video that I put out. And also, I'm super excited to announce, as I mentioned before, the free one-to-one consult with me for the Reality Mastery program is now open. So make sure you click on the link in the description to sign up for that, and I hope I see you there. And also, I'm super excited to announce that the free Facebook group is also open for you. You can take advantage of this as well. The link for that is also in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Peace!